This is the meaning of life, why people don't feel like they're actually moving forward in life. So the first step is to list everything in a column A. List everything in your life, because your life is really only the accumulation of what you do with it. So list everything from your dog to your softball team to your spouses to your job. Everything goes on the list. Then make the list again and put it in priority order. You know, what should be at the top. And what's interesting is the Marines are a great example of this. When you talk to somebody who's in the Army, they're in the Army, or somebody is in the Navy, they're in the Navy, or somebody who's in the Air Force, they're in the Air Force. It's not true with you Marines. You Marines are a Marine. That's why you have a 90-year-old with a Semper sticker on a walker, for goodness sakes. But part of the awesome part about the Marine Corps is they had a list like the one I'm explaining. They had God, Corps, Country, where they had that list. God first, that's where we get our values. Corps second. If we're no good as a Corps, we're no good to the country. It's almost like the least will among you will become first. You elevate the country, you serve the country better than any other unit because you have the priorities straight. Make sense?
Right.
So that's what I want watchers and viewers to do. So make the list again in priority order. Then go up from the bottom, find a place in that list where you draw a red line. That red line is extremely important. Take out a red crayon or a marker or something, draw a red line. And that red line denotes anything above that line is what I would die for. The problem we have in Western society is we have nothing to die for. Our poor people have 2 cars and 3 cell phones and cable TV. Well, the reality is if you don't have anything to die for, you have nothing to live for. And look at the millennial generation. Why am I here? What am I living for? That's part of the problem. So you make that line. Now, this is where it gets painful. I have had people come through our course, because this is only A. We have an A, B, and C list. But I've had people come through our course, we do the A list, and they're already bawling in the audience. And I remember a father and a daughter in the front row. He was crying and talking to his daughter, and I interrupted. I said, "Excuse me, is everything okay?" He said, "Well, I made this list, and something really painful came up." He said, "I found out that I was putting all my time, money, and effort below the line. My job was below the line. I wouldn't die for my job. My softball team was below the line. I wouldn't die for my softball team. But I put all my time, money, and effort below the line." And I said, "Well, it's not just you. The Bible talks about this. The Father says where your heart is, or where your treasure is, your heart is also." And he starts weeping, looks at his daughter and says, "I'm sorry, I wasted my life." This is why, Michael, we go to bed thinking, is this all my life is? Because we put on there God, spouse, kids, family, liberty, whatever, that we would die for. But in reality, that list gets combined maybe 40 minutes a day, where everything below the list gets all of our time, all of our money, and all of our attention. And it's interesting how the Bible talks about how, "Seek ye first the kingdom of God, and all these things will be added unto you." Well, we know what a kingdom is. A kingdom is a territory, a personhood of leadership, rules of the territory, and people in the kingdom. Well, all those things above your line, whoever you are, if you look at that, I will bet you dollars to donuts the things above the line are kingdom principles. Your spouse is a kingdom principle. God designed marriage. Your children are a blessing, arrows in your quiver. Liberty only comes from God. God himself is obviously a kingdom principle. So when we seek first the things of the kingdom, the rest of the stuff will be added unto us. But it's here, right here, where we start realizing, why am I even going to work? It's not benefiting this. But that's where the rest of the teaching and training comes in, because we teach through the B list and the C list what your life actually should be doing. And it doesn't mean you're going to be rich. If you are, great. Some people are going to be a missionary. But look how that's not on their list. They're living below it.